29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2. 1. 0.
Hey guys, look who stopped by. Look who stopped by. Shopcat's here. So this is an actual podcast. So I'll remind everybody, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, after I get done converting the raw audio form and everything. All right, here you go. You will also have the availability to see the actual video. I will put a link to it in the description of the podcast. But we got swags. We got Savannah, who designed the Myelia and the more Myelia. So I almost cut myself doing that. So let's go ahead and I'll bring her in. She's got her cat as well. Aww. Hello.
Say hi, Trooper. Is this one of my babies? He's the one that.
Damn.
Okay, fine. Bye.
2A Dave says, "Damn, Mike, you look like a bus driver." Bus driver.
Well, Chris Ortiz said you look like a hoe. So, I mean.
Yeah, but okay, so let me see how long we've been live. 1 minute and 44 seconds. When it hits 2 minutes, I'll go ahead and say what I was going to think. I don't want it to get demonetized. Like if you drop an F-bomb in the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes, they usually demonetize your video. So
I've spent so long, like, I never cussed on any of my stuff because where I was with like smoking and everything. So like, I think the first time people heard me like drop a cuss word, they were like, "Oh my God." And all I could think is like,
let's see.
Man, you should see me back.
Chris, you can call me a hoe, but you're the one with the long hair and the big booty. And if you're wearing tight jeans, you look like you're supposed to be out on 5th Street in Maine down here in San Diego. So, hey.
That's rough. That's rough right there.
It's Chris. I love the dude. I got his, I've got the prototype for his Seder.
I love that thing. I got to play with that at SHOT Show. Yeah,
he sent it to me. It was kind of self-serving for him to send it to me. The edge on it was very bad. And so, you haven't been in one of my live feeds yet. So guys, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, every time you hear the cowbell, it's because somebody donated money. I'm not one of those channels that has the dainty little bell that they ring when somebody like Jared who just dings a bell. I'm a country boy. I figured it's a cowbell.
I think if I had a bell in my house, my dad would actually probably kill me. So I don't have any bells. So you're way cooler than me.
So my wife used to get upset about it. She's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Every time somebody donates money to the channel on a live feed, I ring the bell." She's like, "Okay, ring the bell. I don't care." Okay.
That makes sense.
So let's see here. So we got a bunch of people here. We got like 37 people here. I actually, like I said, we're going to have fun, but this is one of my actual podcasts. So in podcast format, I have a list of questions for us to go through.
All right.
So the first one I have to ask is, how did you get into knives? Because I mean, where I grew up, girls were into knives because we were all on the farms, 300 people in my town. So how did you wind up getting into knives?
It's such a weird story. So
it's the right channel for that.
I wasn't into knives at all so I actually got my first knife in February of 2019.
Good God.
Yeah, I know. Quite the growth.
Did you make it that far?
So I was a model. I did freelance modeling, got paid pretty well with it. A lot of fun. And one of my photographers' name was Andy Armstrong, and he actually worked at Smokey. So if y'all ever watched like the podcast of Guys Talk Knives, he was on there. And me and him would shoot together, and we just kind of got along, Well, not kind of. We talked mad shit like the whole time, and we got great pictures from it. But he was like, "Hey, like you're funny," and also like I sent him a video of me like bitching about Bojangles not cutting my biscuit in half or something like that. And he was like, "You're pretty funny. Do you want to come on my podcast?" I was like, "Sure. What for?" and he said, "You're going to try out a knife." And it was the Kershaw League from Ken Onion. It was a blue one. He said teal, but it was definitely blue. And he brought me on. It was like a little 10-minute segment, and I took it home for a week, came back, gave my thoughts about it because, I rather enjoyed it and did a lot of dumb shit with it because why not? I have a knife now.
It
And
wasn't
then
yours.
what?
It was free. It's not like you paid for it.
Right. My cat actually hung herself in a tree that week from the really cute, pretty pink beads I put on her like a necklace, but that was a terrible idea. I didn't realize that until she hung herself on a tree. And so I got to free her from that. And I was like, you know what? I probably need this thing. And it's actually framed in my dad's room now because he uses it like a trophy. He's excited. But
The knife.
no, the knife.
Oh, okay.
The cat's very much alive and just had another litter.
I'm just picturing like a taxidermy cat.
Well, she'd probably be less bitchy if she was taxidermy. But no, after that, everyone who watched the podcast, they enjoyed my content and asked me to come back. And then I became like a regular on the podcast. And then I started doing just like the swags reports, which was like a 1-minute video of me just talking about knives. And let me tell you how hard it is to read lines in like a language you don't know what the fuck is happening. Like ZT0609, I'm like, what is that? I don't understand what that is. Now I know that's the name. At the time I thought it was like a secret formula. So like that was the hardest thing, was like reading these lines and talking about something that I didn't know I was talking about. So I had to go home and basically do a crap ton of research. And so I like started doing notes and studying and doing all this stuff. I'd be like at work and I'd be like just studying knives. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not really sure, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. Tell me if this sounds real. And I'd be like the Provoke, I'm like, this is a CRKT Provoke. It has a 2-point-something-inch D2 hawkbill blade with a white coating, whatever, go through the whole specs. And I was like, does it sound real? They're like, yeah, you definitely sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm like, cool. And then I go do the video and have zero confidence. So it went from taking like all day to talk about knives to like, if you ever look at YouTube, you can go to like the end of like my journey with Smokey and you can see where I actually knew what I was talking about because we didn't cut my eyes out of the video. When my eyes were cut out of the video, it's because I was looking at a piece of paper to figure out what I was saying. So That's how I got to learn about knives. And then by the time I left, I kind of knew what I was talking about. And that's when like Kaiser reached out and they're like, hey, design a knife. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's run it.
So Casey Tyler asks, what do we have in our pockets today? Because that's typically when I just do a live feed with me, I ask everybody what they've got in their pockets. I always am carrying two. What do you got? Well, of course you've got your knife.
I know. I was carrying.
I've got the PMP Big Boy in 14C and my Norseman, because I'm a big dude. I can carry two big knives at the same time.
Don't tempt me. I carry a crap ton of stuff. I would get into my little knife drawer, but
we would be here for 4 hours.
Oh my God. Alana.
That's what I was gonna say. 2A Dave.
She's the one that came and got that knife. I felt so bad for you because she walks up and she wants her first knife and she picked the most expensive one on the table. I was like, that's my girl.
Bad for him. Dave's 2A Dave is one of my paying members and he's always in the chat. Don't feel bad for him. He's a horrible person. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact he's a horrible person. So Victor said
like that's so like cool when we went to like Blade West and stuff and people come up and they'll ask for like my autograph and I'm like, me? Like that's so cool. But like in real life, I'm just a trash can, like a sickly trash can at that. So like this is a cool feeling when we go back to work next week and it's not going to be like that. Oh no.
Victor says, Victor, I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name because I'm shit at it. So Victor says, greetings from Mexico.
Hello.
So I guess that kind of answers. What was your first knife again? Because that was basically my next question. Is like, how do you get into knife and what's your first knife?
It was the Kershaw League from Ken Onion, and I actually got to meet him like a few months later at that first Blade show. Yeah. Which was weird. It was weird because I had just gotten a knife and then suddenly I knew what I was talking about. And then I was like a 10-foot poster at Blade Show and everyone was like, swags. I was like, oh God.
The leak was the Kershaw leak was a pretty good knife. My dad had a couple of them. I never really liked it, but I could see that it was a good knife. But my dad had my dad had the leek and the chive both, and he liked them both. And I was like, so.
Now that I know knives more, I have a very different opinion of it. Not that I dislike it, but that it's not something I would carry because I don't want a spring assist and I don't want a safety on my knife. However, in the beginning, those were the things that I really liked about it, was because, you know, it's not like I knew anything about them. So I think it's a great beginner's knife.
I always talk about that, the secondary safety. I hate knives that have a secondary safety. Cutting, wait, let's see here. So Lacey, this is Lacey. She's one of my paying members. She's just started her own channel. She says, can you all see my messages?
Sure can.
There's like 60 people here, Lacey. They fly up so quick. Sometimes I miss them. So I'm trying to get through them, but there's a lot of comments. What was your comment, Lacey? I'll make sure to put it up on the screen. So was smoking out in Knife Works pretty cool? I mean, I can imagine, like, just for me, it would be awesome just being in a great big showroom with fucking knives everywhere. It's like my garage. There's not a horizontal surface that doesn't have a knife on it.
It was a very exhilarating experience for so many more reasons than even just the knives. Like, learning about something you have, like, I mean, I had zero knowledge on this, and so it was very overwhelming at first when I was kind of like expected to know a lot of answers that I just didn't have. And so I kind of had to take the approach as like, hey, like, I'm brand new and I would love to learn anything you want to give me. But all the knives, like, I never really looked at it as like, oh, these are tools, which they are, but I looked at it as, this is an art. You know, and I love art. Obviously, you can see my wall behind me that I painted.
Yeah, somebody actually just asked us, and there's Lacey's. She's like, Swags, you're my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
She was very excited when she found out I was doing this as a live feed.
Oh, thanks. I'm pretty excited too. I was actually really nervous. My heart was racing when first I was like, oh God, I haven't heard myself on camera in forever.
It's my channel. It's gonna be. Welcome to the shit show. It's not like you gotta be nervous. It's not like this is fucking cutting edge journalism or anything.
Oh my God.
No, like, because so Alex Io, right? He used to work in purchasing for a while, and then he did some of the customization stuff. Little guy.
I believe so.
Anyway,
I literally only went there for 2 days a week.
So yeah, he was he's one of my paying members, and we talk all the time. And he was talking about like how many just the Microtech counter, because everybody forgets, like, Smoky Mountain Knife Works is one of the largest retailers of knives in the country.
When I was there, it was the largest. Yeah,
I think they're the largest, and Blue Ridge Knives is the largest distributor.
Yes.
I think those are the two big ones. And people don't like Blue Ridge Knives. So that, like Alex was telling me, just the Microtech counter, there's like almost $1 million worth of product in just the Microtech counter in the shop, not even just the stuff that they have available for online sale. And I was like, are you shitting me? Like, I just, like, me being me, as much as I love knives, I'm like, stop. I can only get so erect.
Jesus Christ.
Stop selling me these things. I just can't imagine.
Know. When I worked there, like, I spent way too... Don't you start with my door. Hold on one second. My cat's about to lose his shit.
So cats, that's what they do. Mine's over here rolling around on the carpet.
Yeah, no, we were about to hear like a whole hell scream come from that cat if I didn't open the door. So when I worked there, I spent way too much money on knives. But my problem is that, like, I will play with something and then get bored and just give it away.
And I pull them back out later. There's so many knives all over this. No joke. Like, did you see? I know you probably don't follow the channel, but did you see like my full collection video? Like, I said, okay, I'm going to look at every knife in my collection. Savannah,
I've seen a lot of your videos.
It was 8 20-minute videos. It was 8 20-minute videos, and each knife got no more than 2 minutes.
Holy
shit,
dude.
Of the videos
I have a lot of knives, but one of my favorite ones, and this was actually something I got from the first Blade show I went to, and I got it from Josh Weston. One sec.
So Cue Ball, this is for you.
I just dropped a bunch of stuff.
We had 2 super chats drop at the same time.
So this was like a wrist carry that he made, and it had this. It's like a 1095 high carbon steel clip point blade, and obviously I've used the crap out of it.
At first, you know what my first thought was? That looked like a cod piece from a piece of medieval armor. I was like, oh, it's a leather cod piece.
No, he made it as a wrist carry, but at the time I was so skinny, I used it on my ankle, like an ankle carry, which I think is a fantastic idea. And I felt like Tactical Tinkerbell. I literally used it like jewelry. I wore that bitch everywhere.
Tactical Tinkerbell.
My only issue.
You're not very tall. You're fairly short, so I could see that when you.
You know, a lot of people don't like when I did modeling, because I was like so skinny for so long. I would show up to like shoots and they're like, "Wow, you're not as tall as I thought," and I'm like, my apologies. I don't know what to say to that.
And then people see me in videos and I show up and they're like, wow, you're way fucking taller than I thought.
Poor Dylan Mallory. He's not quite as tall as most people think. I love him to death. He is such a sweetheart and he makes such great designs.
He does. I was gonna say that's one of the questions we'll get into later, and I was gonna bring it up, but he got kind of upset because we were walking around the show at Blade Show West after we got done and getting ready to go. And he looked tired. And I was like, oh, Dylan, you look tired, man. You want to hop in my pocket? I'll give you a ride. And he was like,
Dylan is literally such a sweetheart though. Like he, cause like we all know I have like mental health issues, right? Dylan will text me like periodically and be like, hey, like you good? Cause you've been quiet for a while. And I'm like, man, thank you. It's like, you know, he's very caring. He's a very nice person. And he got a tattoo at SHOT Show like the day or two before.
I heard about it.
Oh my God.
I heard the story. And I heard Christine was about to murder me on call.
Oh my God, yes. But yeah, like Christine stepped up and Leon stepped back and she was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then she's like, no, if he does it again, I really am gonna hit him. I was like, Mama Bear. It's okay.
So the story I got was Dylan had got this full arm piece.
It wasn't full arm. It was just a like, what is this?
Oh, just
forearm.
Okay, so forearm.
Yeah, giant snake.
And Leon Moss saw it and slapped it. And Christine, women carry knives. If any of you guys know Christine, that she's one of those. She's not to be fucked with. Not the woman at all I would want to cross because she'd wind up dead.
Like for real though.
Yeah, it was. I heard that story and I was like, man, she was gonna kill him. I was like, whoa.
Christine is hilarious though. Like, if she said it, she meant it. So like when she like laughs and says something, it throws you off, right? No, she meant it. She's just trying to break it easy to you.
Okay, so my wife is Japanese and Christine's half Japanese, and that's I think that's just a genetic thing. I think it is that whole. Like I'm gonna like he said, I'm not gonna lie, I'm literally terrified of my fucking wife. And so is everyone else. That. Like Elliot Williamson from Fair and Forge, his brother Chris, all my friends, like they come over and my wife comes out and everybody dummies up and they're like, don't make eye contact.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I totally meant to have this with me. I don't have it with me. I don't know if you saw, I did a live on Instagram for like a little short second. I actually have a video I'm getting ready to post on my YouTube. Finally going to post something to my YouTube. But did you see the customized version of the Maileah that I got?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. So I'm going to have to tell you about it because I don't have it with me because I'm a moron. Anyway, so
Matt,
last year.
Oh, hey, hang on a second. I got to ring a bell. Matt, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Sorry, Matt. I don't know if you can see it on yours. People are like, how come you didn't read this? And how come you didn't? The chat
I see it when you click on it.
Well, okay, so the chat, like it streams, but it's not clean. And sometimes it will jump 8-10 comments at a time. Like they'll sit there and then it'll pop up and people are like, oh, you didn't read my comment. And I'm like, well, one, if it was just me by myself, yeah, that's what drives the conversation if it's just me on a live. But if I've got a guest, I'm really not paying attention to the comments. and they have a tendency to jump, and I miss them.
It does it to me on Instagram a lot. Like everything moves, and I'm like trying to say something, and then I like, you'll see where my attention like loses it. I'll just be like saying something, and I just go,
Yeah, like what,
yeah. Sorry.
Kyle says, "Who is Swags? Forgive my stupidity." Swags, Savannah here, designed the More Myelia and the Myelia. And if you saw my video about it, you know I really like the knife. I'm talking to him. I know you saw the video. You already told me. The only problem I had with the small version, I really did like it. It was comfortable. It was nice. But at 6'3", 230 pounds, when I would sit down, it would push it up out of my pocket, and I would hear it clatter out onto the floor, onto the concrete when I'd be getting out of the car. And I'm like, I can't carry it. So I did it as a giveaway. And
that works great.
So much better a size for me. It really, really is.
Well, you see, here's the difference in like me and you is like you have pockets, right?
Yeah.
And I have a bra, and this fits fantastic in there. And that's kind of what I was going for with that.
You said that, and my buddy Polly in here, Purple Heart Barbecue, he's gonna. I'm waiting for it to happen. He's like, "You have pockets, I have a bra," and he's be like, "Mike's got a fucking bra too." Don't let I can hear him thinking it already. Like he's texting me while I'm doing this.
I've gotten a couple texts too while I've been on here.
But he's texting me. He's like, "Bro, I want you to read it. I want you to listen to it so bad." I'm like, "No, Polly."
Not right now. Not doing it.
I don't have it in me to do that right now.
Oh,
but derail it.
What I was telling you about that custom. So a year ago, I made this like video on Instagram, and I was like, I mean, it's pretty sad. I like cried and everything because I like disappeared for like months, and I was like, so guys, here's what happened. I screwed up, and I'm sad as shit, and you know, going through it. And I put like my whole story, where I came from, all the shit that's been going on, and so from that video, Casey, he's zombie vegan on Instagram. He was like, somebody should really do something for you. And then he decided to be that person. So he and Knife Modders and Hawaii Knife and Gear all teamed up. And so Casey bought the black version of the Maileah. And I think from there it went to Knife Modders. And they took the blade and they did a mirror polish and then a stonewash finish over top of the mirror polish. Changed the thumb studs. It looked really fucking cool. I've never seen that. And then he changed the thumb studs to titanium, or he. And then it went to Hawaii Knife and Gear, and he did koa wood handles and did an abalone heart inlay on it. And I mean, it was like, not only was it just beautiful, but it also added like more thickness to the knife itself. I mean, they did such an amazing job. And then Casey got it back and drove all the way down from South Carolina to my job in Wares Valley and brought it to me. And I literally cried. That was like the coolest thing I think has like ever happened. I didn't know what to do about it. Because he was like, I have a knife for you. Go ahead.
I had something happen here not long ago. And if I had filmed it, everybody would, something occurred. We lost Swags.
There? What happened?
There you are. Sure I was like, oh no.
Can you hear me?
No, so yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh shit. How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It's easy fix. It is an easy fix. Oh, you can't hear me. Shit.
I have no idea what you're saying. Okay.
Let me see. Shit. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I think you're about to write me a note.
iTunes. You're gonna have something special going on. I'm actually writing a note. I'm writing a note to my guest because she lost my audio.
Okay.
So I can hear her. She can't hear me. Mike, I sent a DM on Instagram with a picture of Swag's custom she's talking about. Super clear, but I hope it comes. Let me see here. DCS Carlos says something here, but I can't make it happen right now. I don't have the capability to do what you're asking right now. It happened to me on StreamYard. Yeah, it happens. You just got to log out and log back in. Let's try it this time. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. If you click on something, or if you change,
it just takes me out.
Yeah, it takes the audio out. So I don't know why. Or if your headphones came loose and came back in. I was getting ready to DM you and tell you if that doesn't work. Another option. I had to find a pin. I'm like,
I was like, God, I'm trying really hard to read his lips, but I'm not goddamn clue what you're saying.
It's really hard because my mustache is like
covers the top lip, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Covers my whole goddamn mouth. I need to trim it. Every time I eat a sandwich, I almost swallow my upper lip. I'm like, God damn it! It's just definitely time to. Can't eat spaghetti. I got spaghetti sauce all in it. My wife was like, "You look like a fucking hobo," and I'm like, "It's not like I'm going anywhere. We've been married for 20 years. Like I've got any fucking press."
So I was 4 when you got married.
God damn it. I actually have a Jesus. He was born in 93. I have a son that was born in 93. So what is he? 29.
29. He'll be
29
this year.
30. Yeah, almost. Jesus Christ. He was a boot camp oops baby. Like guess came back 5 years later. It's like, guess what's 5 years old and has your eyes? And I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
So she got married, and the guy she was married, I knew the guy that she married. Great dude. He adopted, like she was pregnant when they started dating. Oh. And so my son was basically a year old when I got married, and he adopted him. So like they never even told me, because they were like, she never told me because she knew I would try to do the right thing and I would ruin both of our lives, and I would have tried to find a way to get out of the Navy. It was one of those relationships that just was not going to be
good. Yeah.
It wasn't going to be a long-term thing. It was good what it was. It was good for what it was, but it was never something that was going to be like, let's get married.
Right.
So what I was trying to say, so you lost that really nice knife. I actually, in our move, misplaced the first knife I was ever given. My father got me a knife. Remember me telling the story about like the initials that he engraved in that knife turned into my logo? So the logo on my knife is actually my father's handwriting. Aww. Couldn't find it. We'd been here for a couple months. I found a knife case that looks like an ammo case that one of the guys that helped us move put in my gun safe. And I opened it up. I was like, there it is. And I literally broke down and cried. I was like, it's the most important thing I own, period. And had it happened on camera, I would have been, it really was. And it's nothing special. It's just a little like probably.
No, it's special because of sentimental value. That means so much more than any like price wise.
Exactly.
I did not lose anything that
my
special.
Dad has passed. My dad's gone now, and it's just one of those things that like it almost made me sick. The thought it was missing. So,
I'm sorry to hear that. It's his part of life.
He lived his life to the fucking fullest. Like he was one of those shooting.
I'm sure he did.
He was one of them shooting stars. He burned bright, but he burned out quick. He lived his life the way he wanted to, and it was better just to let him do it than to try and argue with him, because you weren't going to have a good go of it.
I know that feeling.
So I have to ask, what is a knife that you no longer have that you wish you still did?
Oh, easy. My Bassinelli Mako folder that I lost at the lake after drinking margaritas.
Oh, that's such a good knife.
Dude, it is. Because I got the original.
That's such a good reason to lose it, though. Like, I was drinking margaritas and I fell out of the boat.
I wasn't even at the boat. I was drinking margaritas. I was like, yo, I have this lake spot. I got to show it to you. Went there. I fell asleep on the dock. I woke up, went to my car. I left it, went home. And then I was like, I can't find my Mako folder. And like, here's the thing. I got the original Mako tattooed on me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to the New York Knife Show, which by the way was in Nashville, they need to stop calling it the New York Knife Show when it's never in New York ever. It's called the
Because
Traveling Knife Show.
No one wants to go to New York.
I do. I've never been.
No, you don't. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go find a dirty, nasty truck stop in the summer and walk around the back of the men's restroom and catch a whiff of that. And basically you've been to New York.
You sound like Pete Davidson when he was describing people from Staten Island. He's like, if you take a Marlboro Red and like throw it to a bathtub and that just like comes alive, Staten Island.
Yeah, it smells a lot like pee, and it smells like piss and old
Don't
food.
ruin this for me. I always wanted to go and see
won't
like a
ruin it for
musical.
you. New York will ruin it for you. New York's gonna ruin it for you. I'm just giving you a heads up. I just want to let you know, like, you're gonna be disappointed. It's like when that. Okay, it's like when you meet somebody and you really, really want to go out with them, and you meet them and you talk
and then you
to
go
them,
on a date and they suck.
go on a date and you're like, Jesus Christ, you're a garbage human being, and I don't ever want to talk to you again.
I think that's how people feel when they go on a date with me.
That's pretty much how everyone felt until I met my wife, and then she came back for seconds. I was like, are you a fucking sadist, masochist?
Psychopath? Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Are you gonna kill me in my sleep? Are you like grooming me for a fucking murder? Are you a psychopath? Is that what's going on here?
Oh my God. So one of my photographers, I'm not going to say his name, but he has some of the best stories from his dating life. And he met this girl at a bar, right? And I don't know if this story is true, but God, I hope it was. He was like, I'm going to take her home, was super excited about it. And they're going, back to his place, and they're just talking and whatnot. She's like, yeah, I just got out of jail for killing my husband. And he's like, but he's committed at that point. Here's the thing. He's committed. So what he did is that he took every back road and crazy roundabout turn he could to get to his house. Did the deed in the morning. He took every roundabout curve to take her home, right? Because that way she couldn't figure out where he lived. She showed up 2 days later at his doorstep. And then they dated for 3 months.
I've always said it, and so this is taking a sideways turn off of my list of things, but this is fun. I've had more bad relationships than any 3 people should. And if you ever date someone and you do the deed and it's better than it has ever been, so you always go to their house. You never bring the first time, it's never at your house. And if it's as good as it's ever been and you're like, good God, then never talk to them again because they're fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
Don't give them your actual phone number. Don't do that, because then you have shit that happens, like they show up at your apartment after you break up and they like jimmy the door and they're sitting next to you in your apartment in Japan. And you're like, how'd you get in? And she's like, I just wanted to see you sleep. And I'm like, I have to move. True story.
I could tell.
True story.
That was a sincere, like, sheer pain laugh right there. Like, that was reliving that experience. Oh, fuck.
We gotta move.
It's okay. I had a crazy ex who literally called my phone so many times that it shut it off, and then he would like go to my work and wait for me to leave, and then he like tried breaking into my house, and I was just like, hey buddy, that's enough.
No, I don't want her out here. She's gonna knock the dog wants to come out, and the dog just goes ape shit.
I know that feeling.
Because she hears someone else talking, and she thinks that I have someone in the ground. She just comes over, knock the lights over and knock down the computer. So when my wife and I were dating, I actually was dating several girls at the time, and I broke up with everyone because I fell in love with my wife. And the one girl just refused to take the hint, and she showed up. We had to call the Japanese police. She showed up and opened the sliding door into my living room and was letting herself into my house because she wanted to talk to my wife, my fiance at the time. I was like, oh, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking nuts. So, but
that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, terrible idea. I actually I have a similar thing with a knife I lost almost the same. I wasn't drinking. My dad had bought me a Simmons folder, a green handled Simmons Old Urn folder. Mm-hmm. Great little folding knife. I showed everybody in my Gilded server a picture of it, and they're like, that is a great looking knife. I had a hole in my pocket. My dad and I were out fishing. This did not have a pocket clip. It was a lockback with no pocket clip. Back in the day, this was before freaking. This is before fucking Sal Glesser decided that every knife needed a pocket clip and screwed up the ergos on every knife that will ever be made again. And so it fell through a hole in my pocket, and my dad and I walked. My dad and I walked the sandbar on the river for like 3 hours trying to find it. Never found it.
Dang.
That would be a knife that, because it was a great. I mean, it wasn't my first knife, so I didn't have as. But it was a great knife, and I have never found one available again. So, what is your favorite knife show?
It's not SHOT Show.
SHOT Show's not a knife show. It's a whole different fucking thing. It's a mess, is what it is.
Yeah. Blade Show for sure. Just Blade Show in Atlanta. I love it. It's great. Great people. Because California can't drive for shit. Like it's terrible. Like my driving.
They take offense to that and they try and blame everybody else. Like, oh, you guys don't know how to drive. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I know that you don't drive the speed limit in the far left lane, fucker. Get over it. If you're passing you on the right, you're in the wrong fucking lane.
No,
it's
dude,
listen. Pedal.
Some of y'all's roads, I'm pretty sure, aren't actual roads. It looks like fucking egg crates I'm driving over in this little Prius I had to rent from the place. I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. Officers out there were telling me where weed was, and I was like, listen, this is freaking me out because back home, if you even like hinted that you were thinking of that, you're welcome. I'm like, back home, if you like even like say the word weed, you kind of go to jail. So like, this is weird.
I know a cop who's like, hey man, what dispenser do you use? And I was like, why? Don't they piss test? He's like, they only piss test if I shoot somebody. And he's like, I'm on desk duty. I'm sure I'm good. And I'm like, bro. I was like, Bo, are you serious? He goes, yeah. I was like, all right, it's Urban Leaf. It's right down off the 905. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Okay, so I have to say this real quick. To the people who are texting me right now, I can't click on it. So if you're talking shit, I can't see it until the end. What? No, not you guys. People are actually texting my phone right now, and I'm pretty sure they're talking shit to me, but I can't click on it, so I need to tell them that I'm not responding right now.
They're kind of like, why are you on this fucking goofball's channel? What the like you do know what you got yourself in for.
They're probably telling me to take my like work clothes off so I don't embarrass their company.
It's Friday.
I gotta work tomorrow.
I wasn't even going to drink. And somebody like I think it was one of my paying members or one of my customers. They found out that I was doing this and they sent me his beer and blades. And I was like, I'm not drinking. They sent me an 18 pack of Bud Light. And I'm like, well, I mean, my favorite kind of beer is free. My second favorite is cold. Any combination of those first two, and I'm in for it. So I'm like, it's cold and free. So I was gonna say, have you been to USN yet? The Usual Suspects Network. It's the invitational show that they have in Las Vegas. It's basically by invitation. Usual Suspects Network. That is my favorite show. Now I haven't been to the Atlanta Blade show yet.
Have you really not?
No, I haven't. I haven't been able to.
Oh, dude, you gotta go.
Yeah, this is my only source of income, so I don't foresee it if I can't come up with a better way to make money anytime soon.
Talk. I'm sure.
I'm gonna figure it out.
We're gonna work something out.
I'm eventually gonna go. I want to go. I'm eventually gonna go. But the USN, like I've been to some of the bigger shows, like Blade Show West. The first two were huge compared to what we had. Yeah. But this one, the USN, it's really small and it's like by invitation and there's a lot of custom makers. And the thing is, it's a really close knit, like everybody knows everybody, even more so than some of the like Blade Show and stuff. And it's like, everybody's really cool. So I had my birthday at USN. I wasn't planning on drinking. Russell called me and was like, hey, the boss wants to meet with you and talk about my knife design. We're in the Cove, and I had to go to the Cove, and my buddy Nathan told everyone there it was my birthday, and I barely remember leaving the Cove. Like somebody poured me in a bucket and carried me up to my room.
Oh my God.
I was really drunk, but I had a blast. It was great. Did we lose you again? Can you hear me?
No, I'm still here. I had to make sure that my phone was on the charger because I don't know how to charge my phone ever, and I'm at 4%.
Oh, that's no good. So, I don't want to get into like a painful memory, but tell us about your design. I already know why it was. How did you come up with the design, first of all, and then you can get into naming it if you want. I know you've talked about it a bunch, but
I mean, I like talking about it. It's like a really awesome thing that I got to do. It's not painful anymore. It was painful for a while. Now I'm just excited to say it. So it was designed after Leah. Leah was my best friend. She passed away a little over 2 years ago. And the whole thing about the knife was like, I was like, dude, I have to make sure that this girl's legacy stays on, because she is like, hands down, was one of the most amazing, most incredible, beautiful people I've ever met in my life. She is also a dick, but like, she was great, I'm telling you. So she was an industrial electrician and a model. So what I wanted to do was find something that did a bit of both, you know? It was small because she was tiny. So you have something that's small. Let me go right here. And then cool painting behind you. Is that your wall or is that? Yeah, it's mine. Sorry.
Yeah, I just put it up so we didn't lose it. I wanted to answer it when you were done.
So if you notice, it's got like the kind of cleaver style, but it has the swedging right here. So it's not just chopping. You can kind of do some like slicing and piercing as well with it. And then girls, especially with modeling, you have your nails done all the time. And using a flipper makes your nails like break off and bleed. And I don't know if y'all know this, but when you rip a nail off of it, that really freaking hurts and you bleed everywhere. So I didn't like that. So I wanted to do something that had a front flipper, and then also the thumb studs made it super easy too. And where, if you can see, I'm so bad at showing this now. You can see where like the liner is, so it's easier to kind of like push over. I'm sorry.
I said the software mirrors everything, so it's reversed. It takes forever to figure out the right and left on it. That's why you're having problems.
But well, also I haven't done it in forever. But yeah, so I did that, and then just the hidden lanyard hole was for people who do have bigger hands. If you add a small lanyard of like 2-3 inches, it'll fit in your hand just fine, because you do have like this area for you to really hold it, and then back here you can get a little more grip in the back, which really and truly my hand actually does fit all the way on this. So
mine absolutely.
But yeah, I'm sure it doesn't. I have tiny hands. But yeah, I mean, it was just try to do something that could work for everyone, that was inviting for women, but also not like, hey, I'm pink and girly. You know?
The more Myelia is still a 3-finger knife for me. But well, you shook hands with me. You know, I don't have normal sized hands.
I'm 5'3" and a quarter, and I'm not going to say my weight, but like I got little hands.
Well, like I said, I liked it, and it was something. I was going to give it to my daughter. Yeah, well, I was going to give it to my daughter, but like she's not really so much into knives like she was when she was younger. We used to go up to Fair and Forge and hang out. She would hang out on days, and I'd make handles, and she'd like ride her rollerblades around in the parking lot and come in and watch me do stuff. But her first knife was a Swiss Army knife, and now she has a $500 Fair and Forge NTAC as well. I bought one for my father for a retirement gift, and when he passed away, he came back, and my mother was like, "Oh, I want Isabel to have this." So now she has one as well. So we each have one of these. So
nice.
But no, I like the more Maileah. The only reason I'm not keeping it is like I said, I literally have knives everywhere. I don't even have room for
knives on knives on knives. I'm not offended. I hope it gets around everybody's hands.
I have to say, like, my wife is like, no knives in the house, except whatever's in your pocket you put on a bedstand. She's like, no knives in the house. I don't want to hear it. I hid a box of knives on the top shelf in the downstairs bathroom where she can't. I slid it back. So I was like looking for her height. I was like, she can't see that. Because I will get in trouble.
Oh my God.
I have a problem.
You're looking to get your ass whooped from your wife, man.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking mean.
Oh my God.
But no, it's a really good design. I like the ergos on it. Like to the getting up on it. I love that that swedge tray because, you know, I can get up on it and cut around. That's what we use to cut the cork for my dog. We actually use the knife I'm giving away because I'm not using one of mine. I'd have to sharpen it. So
pretend.
So I was like, we cut the cork to put in the back of the frame for her project to sit on with this. And it does. It's nice and thin. It does a really good job.
Awesome. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, but you saw the video.
I did. I did.
Liked it. So cutting lace, Myelia. Yeah, that's the more Myelia, Lacey. So what was my next question? I got into that thing in my pocket and I'm like, I've lost track of what I was doing.
For the person that asked about the painting though, I painted this like a year ago because I was really bored and had acrylic paint and just kind of did a thing for no actual reason. But if anybody wants to see it, is on my YouTube channel. So there's that. As you were asking.
Okay. So favorite new designer.
Oh my God. I don't know. I mean, really and truly, like, yeah, Dylan. I mean, Dylan's, is he even a new designer? I mean, like, look at how many he's put out. And like, if you've seen like,
yeah, I know, but like when I'm saying,
he always has it on hand. Huh?
Well, for my perspective, being as old as I am, new designers, I'm talking about people that are newer than Ken Onion and Kit Carson. So
well, Mike, you're kind of fucking old, so like I know. I'm not.
You don't have to fucking tell me. I know. I woke up this morning. I know what it felt like. I was like, good God, what the fuck did I do?
I feel like hell. But yeah, Dylan is, I mean, he's amazing. He's a great person too. And like, I'm sorry if I meet you and I think you're trash, I'm really not going to like anything you give me. Honestly, I'll give it a chance and I don't knife shame, but like, I'm not going to go carry it. Like and I won't say the name, but there is one specific person out there who designs knives. And I just don't want anything to do with it. And then I found out that he was part of one of the knives that I do like. And I was like, I'm not parting ways with it, but damn it, I'm not happy about it. But yeah, as far as new knife designers, okay, so then yeah, Dylan, 100,000%. And he's like so nervous right now over his newest design. I can't remember the name of it because it's got like a fatter blade. Yeah. If you notice with Dylan, like he has all like very sleek and slender and sexy knives, and he's doing something just a touch different. And he's like, I just don't know about it. I'm like, Dylan, you're like freaking awesome at what you do. Like, don't stand back from it. You got this. That was great.
Yeah, I haven't found one of his designs I don't like. And because I know how small his hands are. And when Russell got ready to send me, he's like, oh, I'm going to send you the Centros, Dylan's design. And I was like, all right, cool. And it came and I was like, oh, I like that. That's real comfortable.
That was my first video on YouTube was the Centros after I left Smokey.
I like it. It's a really good design. I carried a lot. It gets carried a lot, especially if I'm going somewhere where I'm not as comfortable as I normally would be and may have to let the air out of someone. It is a very, very good tool.
Perfect shank.
That's kind of what I was getting at, but like you got to be careful on YouTube. You got to tiptoe on that gray line that they keep moving randomly throughout the fucking month.
That's really odd because I have a video of me like zip tied to a chair and I got out of it with my shoelaces and the people who were watching were all drunk. So they had like some weird commentating. I didn't get banned. It probably should have.
It'll probably wind up like I'm kind of upset this week. They changed rules and then all of a sudden like you get a notification like, oh, hey, I thought I was going to get a strike. And I was like, I told the video's been up for 4.5 years. Like, are you going to give me seriously going to give me a strike? And I requested. I said, I'll take the video down. That's fine. But like, I requested to not get a strike. I'm like, because you give me a strike and I can't fucking post. I can't stream. I can't let anybody know what's going on for like a week. And that sucks. I had it happen once before. Yeah. So.
Well,
what is this? Somebody said something in it.
Oh, Andy Armstrong. He was the photographer that got me on Smokey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that always. So when you think of like model and photographer, you think it's like people who don't do modeling or have no idea about it. They think it's super weird. But let me tell you, we would shoot and literally just talk major shit. He was like, "Hey, have you thought about doing like a squat or two because you look kind of scooshy?" And I'm like the fucking audacity of these people. He's one of my. I've worked with him more times than I can count, and we've done like so many projects on random different things. He's awesome, totally awesome. Does great photography too.
My friend Nikki's actually a freelance model, and she has
Nice.
a friend that is her prime photographer. And when she left San Diego and went up north, he was like, "Okay, this is a list of guys that you should never work with, and this is a list of guys. This is a list of guys that I'm okay with, and these are the 3 guys that I fucking trust." And I was like, "That's actually
that sounds about right."
Yeah. That's like he was like, "This list of guys I gave you the first list. If you fucking do anything with them, if you do anything even close to topless, it'll wind up on the fucking internet in a day." That those guys right there, they're horrible.
You have to be careful about it. 100%. I never really did topless though, so I was solid there.
There's Alex. So there's Alex, who I was talking about. He used to work as he worked as a purchaser, and then he did the customization for a while there at Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
Mm-hmm.
And said, Kyle,
what's up, Alex?
Kyle, other guy from Ohio who's got a really hard. What's up, Kyle Knuckle? So
Hi, Kyle.
New favorite guest. Hey, y'all. David from Hiking with the Viking says hi.
Nico.
Where's Nico?
No, not Nico.
No.
David. Sorry.
No, that's David. That's David. That's the.
He's
that's
the one.
the
He's the one that gave me my. Hold on, my crossbow. Where is it?
Wait, he gave you a fucking crossbow?
No, my mini one.
Oh, that. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, because he and I were about to have words. I was like, motherfucker, you gave some.
No, he.
Yeah,
gave it
I remember.
To me. No, he didn't give it to me. He showed me where it was, and I went and bought it for $20. I found out on Amazon I can get it for $2.
And then you
and then I came shot you in the ass with a toothpick.
Yeah, you shot me in the ass with it. You shot everything in the booth with it with toothpicks. I was like, what the fuck was that?
I've never seen you look so angry. So you were like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, just go. I saw the dad look in your eyes. You're like,
well, I have a really bad temper, but it's very quick. Like I'll be like, no, and then it's gone.
Yeah,
and
I saw it. I felt it, saw it, heard it.
But
whole nine.
That's taken years of practice, because usually that look is rapidly followed by something breaking, something being destroyed, and it's taken years to master that. I think having a child had a lot to do with it.
Kids are
nightmares. Go ahead. You say it.
Kids are assholes. Tell me I'm wrong. And people will be like, "Oh my god, babies are so hard." Like, at least babies like sleep and they aren't like
babies. You can put a baby down and maybe it'll roll over, maybe it won't. That's it. You don't have to, like, if you put a 3-year-old down, now there's a manhunt.
Oh my god. And they talk so much shit to you. Like, you ever had a kid look at you and be like, you smell bad. And I'm like, dude, we're out in public. You could have kept that to yourself.
We're going to have a little discussion on tact when we get back to the car.
Right.
I've said this before. You cannot call yourself a parent if you haven't flicked your kid. Like, your kid turns around when they can't see you and you're like, ah! Then you're a parent.
No, dude, let me tell you. So it's my goddaughter, Lily. I used to threaten her with like obnoxious things. I was like, yeah, keep talking all that smack. I'm gonna like cut your legs off and mount it to the wall. And she was like, one day, for the longest it worked. One day she looked at me, she goes, do it. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, when they call you bluff, you're like, shit, this sucks.
So then I changed it. I was like, I'm going to tie you by your toes to the ceiling fan and turn it on. And I can make her believe that for a while because I can pick her up upside down. But now she's like gotten huge and I can't do that anymore either. So I tell her that we'll make spaghetti if she stops being mean.
Look on the screen. I'm not going to read it. You can read what Eggs had to say.
Oh, I see it. I seen it.
No, my kid, the best.
All my bits smell terrible.
The best thing my kid ever did. We were at a restaurant and we ordered an Italian restaurant, and I had ordered mussels and pasta with just like a carbonara. And my wife was sitting right across, and I had just put a mussel in my mouth. And my wife burped, and she looked and she goes, "Oh, excuse me." Like, excuse me, because it's polite little Japanese lady. And my daughter, loud as fuck goes, "Why, Mama? Did you fart in a restaurant?"
What? No. Sorry. I'm
In the
listening.
restaurant, loud as loud as she could say it. When my wife said, "Excuse me," she looked at my wife and goes, "Why, Mama? Did you fart?" And like everybody in the restaurant was like, "Oh my God." Like she was like 2 or 3.
Man, Lily got suspended from daycare when she was 4. And I didn't know that was possible.
Mine did too. Mine came home for hitting a kid in the head with a fire truck.
About like that. They like called me and they're like, "Hey, we need you to come get her." And I was like, "Why? Like, I just dropped her off. I'm at work." They're like, "Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to suspend her." And I was like, "Why?" And they started kind of giggling. They're like, "We'll talk about it when you get here." I was like, "Okay." So I get there.
We don't want you to leave the kid here because you just disowned it. Like, we don't want to have that happen. We'll tell you when you get here.
Right. So,
We want you to be surprised by it. We don't want you to have like some ramp up to be angry by the time you get here. We don't want to see the news.
I got there and like I walked in and they go, "All right, Aaliyah Grace, do you want to tell Savannah what you did?" She goes, "Well, Bianna, you always said take up for myself." And like immediately I'm like, "Oh my God, how is this like full circle back to my fault?" And I was like, "Lily, what did you do?" She goes, "Well, Jeremy took a bite of my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so I punched him in the face." And I was like, "I mean, who was watching this kid try to take my kid's food? Like, what do I pay you for?" You know, I'm gonna have her back 100%. But yeah, and I was like, "You can't do that." And I made them give me my money back because it was Monday, so I just paid them, so they needed to give me my money.
You're like, "You can't do that." We'll talk about it more in the car.
Oh, we got in the car. She goes, "Am I really in trouble?" I was like, "No, that was actually pretty funny. But like, if you ever make me leave work to come pick you up again, like we're fighting." And she's like, "Cool," you know. And then we went to the park.
Yeah, my little Isabel, I got a call. I worked for the government at the time. My wife was actually a full-time student because she was doing for part of her visa. My wife's not a U.S. citizen. She's a Japanese national. She just is here she doesn't want to give up her Japanese citizenship because she wants to be able to go back if something happens to me and stuff like that. And so at any rate, she can't have her phone. So she was doing the required English as a second language that she was doing at the college. She got to do it for free, but it was like an all day thing. We even got to claim, she was like a full-time student. We even got to claim it on our taxes because we were paying for daycare. And so I got a call on my boss. I tell my boss and I was like, I got to go. My kid got in trouble at daycare. He goes, "Yeah, no problem." He's like, "I got kids too." And so I get there and I'm like, "Okay, so what happened?" And like I said, they're like, "We'll tell you when you get here." And I'm like, I think it's 100%. They don't want you mad when you get there. They want you to find out and then have that simmering so that the abuse doesn't happen on site. It's that way that ramping up period happens in the car while you're just looking at him. You're like, "You little
you mother."
All the way home. That way it doesn't happen on site. And so I get there and I find out that my daughter they had to send this kid home because they had to like put a Band-Aid. He was bleeding. She hit him in the face with a toy fire truck. And I'm like, "Okay, well, why?" And they were like, "Well," and they were like, he took it and she took it back. And when he tried to take it again, she hit him with it. And I was like, "So why am I here?" Like, I'm okay. Yeah. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, why was I called away from the job that I make 6 figures a year at only when I'm there to take care of this? What's going on? And they're like, "Oh, well, both of the kids have to go." And I'm like, "No, that's not how it's going to work. One of the kids is going to go. And the one that started it is the one that's going to," I basically, their manager was like, "Okay, she can come tomorrow and we'll leave him." And I was like, that's the best course of action you can make right now. Because I'm about to have a complete and utter come apart in your lobby and no one wants to see that.
They'll do anything they can not to be like beaten by parents, you know? That's how it goes. I mean, Lily was totally in the wrong. Like I just don't even believe that he really tried to take a bite of that. And I think that she was really just wanted to hit someone in the face because she's kind of violent.
She's
like
looking at him like, she's like,
God,
I don't like
you're ugly.
I don't like the way you color. I don't like the way you hold your crayon.
She's like that. Like she is such an interesting child. Like she speaks like a 10-year-old, and she was like that since she was like 4. And she's super sweet when she wants to be, but she's got this mean streak in her. And it's so weird because it just comes out randomly, and she can play it off so good. But the funniest thing about Lily is, so she wakes up super early, right? And she'll come like talk to me if I'm sleeping still. But she has this super creepy little ghost girl voice. Man, she's fucked up my dreams a few times.
If any of you all don't have kids will scare the shit out of you in the middle of the night because they got like little rabbit feet. Like you can't hear them coming, and you're like just about half asleep. You got your face down, and then you hear, "Hey, Daddy!" You're like, "Ah!" I forgot we had a kid.
That and like what else? Whenever they just like, I don't know, you be drinking a little too much, you know, like you thought they were asleep like 3 hours ago, and then like all of a sudden they're awake and they're hungry, and you gotta like figure out how to make cereal happen.
Well, if you drink like I do, sometimes that time is like 10 a.m. You know?
I was talking about at night. We're not getting into my
I know,
okay.
but when you drink like I used to when my daughter was little, there's times that's your idea at night. Like, the sun's still up. The sun's up. I still gotta go to bed. I can't see. My favorite was when my daughter first started sleeping, like she could walk around. My favorite was like I'd had my feet. You know, I'm tall. We didn't have a king size bed yet, so my feet were hanging off the end of the bed, and my daughter was like grabbed a hold of my toe and was pulling on like. Not the middle toe, but the one right next to my big toe. Like she'd gotten a hold of it full on and was yanking. I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I wanted to see if it'd come off." And I was like, "Dude, your toes come off? What's wrong with you?"
When I was little. Okay, so I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, we got a member.
Oh my God, Will became a new paying member. Oh,
yeah.
I hadn't thought about that in a long time. That made me laugh so hard I'm crying.
When I was little and my dad would be sleeping, he used to get like, you men have the weirdest eyebrows, either great or super weird. But he had weird ones. So he had like fine eyebrows, and then he had these like wiry hairs randomly. And so I was like,
mine are all screwed up because there's a lot of scars in there from the 10 years I spent bar fighting as a hobby.
Well, you win some, you lose some. But when my dad was sleeping, I would like come up because he'd be like in his recliner, and I would just come over there with tweezers, and I just like pluck out those hairs that I just deemed unworthy.
Why do you have one that goes all the way up like that? Why the one that goes the wrong direction?
Yeah, so I would just
I got one more. I got one more to throw at you about my daughter before we get back on track again.
Okay.
I think the pin hit. I think the pin hit's wearing off. I'm like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about knives. So the best one. So now that my daughter's a teenager, I realized I have raised a fucking monster, like a complete and utter monster.
Anything less?
So we sold our house. We moved to this house, and I had said something. I was picking on her, and I said something. She said, "Okay," and she looked at me. And I wear a CPAP because I have to. I have centralized apnea. My brain just doesn't send the signal to breathe while I'm sleeping.
Gotcha.
And she looked at me. She goes, "A lot of spiders here at the new house. Do you notice that?" And I was like, "Yeah, there are a lot. They're everywhere. We got a yard, and there's like trees and stuff all in the yard." And she's like, "Yeah, a lot of spiders in the new house." She's like, "You check your whole CPAP, like the hose and everything, before you put it on?" And I'm like, and she's like, "Night." I was like, "Oh, I'm terrified of spiders. She knows this. Like, I fucking hate spiders. I'm terrified of them." And that's what she leaves me with on her way through by my bedroom.
Spiraling before bed.
Just in passing. She goes, I was like, "So, we'd kind of we'd been here like maybe a month." She's like, "I like the new house." I'm like, I'm glad it's a pretty good rental. Yeah. lots of spiders. Like, yeah. She's like, you check the full, like everything, the hose and everything on your CPAP before you go to bed. And I was like, and just walked away. And I'm like,
you can't give her a response to that. Otherwise she wins.
I was like, what the fuck is that shit? I'm like, oh my God. It's like, you're fucking evil. I just I got another
Girls
paying
be
member.
like that the most.
Say what?
I said girls are like that the most though. You got another member?
All right, me. I was just like, by the time I was her age, I was like, girls. I was just, that's all I thought about. Like, it's like, fucking, my mother was like, why are we always out of conditioner? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Oh my God. I will say this. The one thing that I don't like about being on a social media platform is the amount of penis pictures that I get. I am so sick and tired of people sending me their dicks. I don't ask for it. I don't want it. And you keep doing it. And I'm going to start posting them on Snapchat. All right. Everyone heard it here first.
Ooh, the hall of shame.
Dog ears with like a top hat on it and putting it on my Snapchat. Stop sending me pictures of your dick.
Oh God. See, I don't have that problem. I'm glad I don't have that problem. I think I would be much more upset about it than you would, because I think you would probably have more interest in those pictures than I did.
No, I don't. No one's ever looked at a picture of a dick and been like, I love this picture. Like, they just don't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Same thing as boobs.
I've seen mine and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why is that the darkest part of my body and it's never been out in the sun? What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know whose channel you're on.
Here's the thing. There's unsolicited dick pics and those are bad, right?
Yeah.
But I've had an unsolicited dick showing that was much worse.
I just can't afford a new computer. I almost had it come out of my nose because I was about to spray beer everywhere. And I don't want to have to get a new computer. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So those are a lot worse.
Did you know what you should have done?
I should have thrashed it with my keys.
No, this is what I would have done. I would have grabbed it and taken them on the fastest tour of the neighborhoods, ending at an ATM. Like,
Let me tell you something. It was one of my brother's friends. Like, he was going to get his girlfriend's like dish thing from a pool hall. And I was like, I want McDonald's. I'll ride with you so you don't have to be alone. We're on the way there, not even on the way back. And I'm like talking.
Well, he didn't even wait to the return.
No, it's on the way there. That's why I made it awkward. But like, we're on the way there, and I'm like talking, and like I never shut up. And he was just being really quiet. I was like, "Hey, dude, like, what's your why?"
What the?
I was like, "Why are you doing that?" He like covered it with his shirt as if that just like erased the dick that's burned into my brain. And I was like, when did this happen? He goes, just now. And he's just stroking his stupid dick. And
did it itch? I don't like.
And he goes, I'm sorry, but you hugged me and I got the wrong idea. I'm like, I'll never hug anybody ever again. So then we have to finish the ride there and have another ride coming back. And he's like, hey, you still want McDonald's? I'm like, no, I'm actually good, fam. I'll cook when I get home.
That's probably the most quiet and awkward ride in the history of mankind.
No, I had to keep conversation because I was afraid he was about to pull back out. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
We can't have quiet. We can't have quiet.
No.
All right. So
back to your questions.
Fucking Jesus. We got off on a tear, didn't we? It just felt like a lot longer to me. I just looked at it. Was like, oh, it's only an hour and 8 minutes. I forgot I got into that little blue thing that's in my pocket, and I've lost all concept of time. Favorite knife company besides you can't like I wouldn't be able to say Artisan or CJR because they make my knives.
Fascinelli.
Bro, I love that crazy. I love that crazy Frenchman. That dude is like my best. Like, if you're gonna find me at a knife show, and Bastinelli's there, if Bastion's there, that's where I'm gonna be at. Like, if you're looking for me and I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I'm gonna be over there talking to Bastion.
He has great knives and hot girls at his stand. Like, everyone goes there. But here's the thing: I get to cut line because I literally tattooed his knife on me.
Yeah. Wait,
I know he had to probably open his phone and been like, "This bitch is crazy," but cool, free advertisement.
Ooh. I was talking with him, so you know how they've redone that giant folder that they did that time when they were still in France. And I was like, bro, like you made that? And he goes, yeah, that is the knife that got me kicked from France. They say, you know, you make this knife, it's too big. You need to go. You can't do here. And I was like, what? He goes, so we go to Florida. I was like,
well, oh my gosh, I heard him whenever he was cussing at Nicolas. And because he was like, why the fuck is that stupid Frenchman? He's only dabbed one hair with a French beret. And I'm like, I love that dude. And he goes to call him, and the phone next to him starts ringing. He goes, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, I can come back. I can come back. I can totally come back. It's
so
cool.
So California Customs Show 3 years ago. No, 4 years ago. So right, the last one before the coof pandemic, and fucking no one could go anywhere. And now that the price of gas is like $30 a gallon, you still can't go anywhere. Right. I was at Bastion's table, and there was a dude that had the Mako, and he was doing that like flick thing, and he was trying to flick it off his wrist, and he stuck the knife in his hand so bad, and he immediately, you see him go like this. And any knife guy that has ever cut themselves really bad, it's the don't look at it, put your hand on it, everything's fine. You're not going to want to look at that because it's going to make you want to throw up a little bit, because you felt how deep it went in your hand. And he's like this, and he goes, no, it's okay. And so Bastion's wife is like, let me see, and she, like, he moves his hand, and I see it, and it's so far open, and it's one of those ones where you can see the meat, but the blood hasn't started yet, and it just goes, and I'm like, no, you're not okay.
I don't want to hear about this. I'm going to throw up. I just cleaned my sheets.
I was like, oh my, and I was standing right there, and I'm like, I saw it happen, and I saw him do that, and I was like, I know that move. I've done that move. And he was like, I saw his eyes get real big, and then they came back down to normal, and he was like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, no,
you're not.
No, you're not.
Totally not. There's no fucking way you are.
Bastion came back. He goes, what the fuck happened? I leave for like 2 minutes, and this bullshit motherfucker sticks a knife in his hand. So I sent him the video just because it's funny. I sent him the video of when I stabbed myself clear. I was sharpening a knife for a guy, a little thin fillet knife. He was here at the house. A friend of mine, and the knife, because I sharpened freehand with the knife with the stone in my hand, and I went back and I was watching TV because it's feel and sight, but it was such a thin knife, and it came off the stone, and it went in my hand and came out the other side, like an inch and a half. And he saw me, and he saw the look on his face, and I pulled the knife out, and I was like, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, it's a good one. And I took the rag off, and there was 2 holes, and he goes, did you get it twice? I'm like, no, it went all the way through the meaty part of my hand this way, like from here to here. And I'm like, God, it really didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. The nice thing is I have a super high pain tolerance. So it didn't hurt that bad.
The worst cut I ever got was when my brother stabbed me in the hand with a knife. I was in 2nd grade.
You guys playing 5-finger flag?
I don't know. No, he like had a knife and like was like, I mean, he was in 4th grade. I was in 2nd grade. Okay. Like we should have had a knife in general. I'm not really sure exactly how it happened, but like it like went into my hand. Right. But like I held a grudge. So 5 years later, when presented the opportunity, do your thing.
Yeah. Sorry. I got it.
It's a thing.
Swags is not a member of the Daleka Club. Neither am I. I have an M-Tech here that was a gift, and the only reason it's here is because it was a gift, but it stays in its box, so it can't fucking contaminate all the good knives.
But 5 years later, when presented the opportunity, because he was working on the ceiling fan, he asked me for the Phillips head screwdriver, and I looked up, and like my crazy ass goes, so it's now or never, and I just stabbed the shit out of his hand, and I ran.
That's so much worse than getting stabbed with a knife. It's blunt, it's dirty, and like I would much rather get stabbed with a knife.
Shouldn't have been talking shit.
This is true. Revenge, especially after it's fermented and
it's 5 years old. 5 years old. I feel bad for him because he genuinely didn't know what was gonna happen, and I didn't either till like that very moment. And I was like doing it.
Somebody asked me one time, I was like, they're like, do you hold a grudge? I was like, I don't just hold a grudge, man. I nurture it, and I love it. I coddle it, and I give it all the love it needs to turn into a little ball of destruction that I'm eventually going to unleash on you because you did one little thing, and eventually I'm going to like super glue your pants on you while you're sleeping. or put
I'm better about it now.
or put Nair on your mustache when you come over to my house for a party and pass out. When you get up in the morning and wash your face, you think you have a serious problem. I did that.
Personally, I like to steal people's like batteries and toilet paper and like dustpans and like left shoelaces. Things that are like minor inconveniences for a long time.
This isn't a minor inconvenience, but you have here. I think I've told this story on the channel before. So I had a roommate when I lived in Japan. He was my roommate for like 3 years, and we would go out every night because I don't sleep. Like I'm running on like an hour and a half of sleep now. And that was like, that's less, but I usually don't sleep. And we would go out every night till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, still get up and go to work at 6. And his favorite thing to do is we would go drive around and we'd take turns. And I'd drive one night, he'd drive one night, and we'd take my car because there's no open container laws in Japan. And we would drive all around and we would drink in the car, take turns, and just hang out and meet chicks and shit like that. But his favorite thing was he would have me take him to every like public restroom, like outhouse style public restroom in Sasebo, Japan. And he would pee on the toilet paper. He'd take a leak on the toilet paper, all of it. Like he'd go from stall to stall. And so one night we're like out and he goes, I see this look on his face. And I was like, what's up, bro? And he goes, bro, we got to go back to the apartment. I was like, why? And he goes, I got to take a shit. And I was like, he's like, no, I have pissed on every roll of toilet paper at every public restaurant or public restroom I know of tonight. I've had you drive me there. And I was like, oh. And I was like, don't you shit in my car. I had to drive all the way back to the apartment because it was late enough that like grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants, it was all closed. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, we got to go back to the apartment like right now.
Jesus. Now, I do want to remind you that it's like 11:45 here, something like that. Let's see.
I usually do it for 2 hours. We can get through this list. If you can't do a full 2 hours, that's fine.
I don't know if I can get all the way there because they'll be like, I gotta be at work in the morning. So
okay. That's fine. So cool. Let's go through this. I only have like 4 more questions. We can do them quick.
Cool.
Favorite blade shape?
Because of Andy, I've always really liked upswept blades.
Like a good
but
drop.
I don't know. I can't decide things. I'm very indecisive on everything that I do. That's why my hair is like 3 different colors right now. I'm gonna go with upswept. That's what I'm gonna stick with. Yeah.
My favorite is just because it's so good in all, like basically so many things, is a good Warncliffe.
Yeah.
Good Warncliffe.
For me, like a go-to would definitely be a drop point as well.
Yeah, a good Warncliffe. I mean, you've seen my knife design. Right? I like a good Warncliffe. Okay, so what's your favorite blade steel?
I will say Artisan did kick it out of the park with that AR RPM 9. They really did.
People are like, oh, it's a budget steel. I was like, motherfucker, it's punching above its weight class. It's a really good steel.
It's a really good steel. And here's the thing, it keeps an edge for a long time. It comes like out of the box, stupid sharp, and it's super easy to sharpen too.
I was gonna say it's the only steel I've ever had that like will strop up from like almost dull back to razor sharp hair popping on newspaper. Like that's the best thing to strop ARPM 9 with. That's why I told Russell, I was like, you need to put that in the notes on the steel. Best thing, wrap newspaper around a block of wood, and that's your strop. It's freaking great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would definitely be as the ARPM 9. It's just
okay.
It's just great steel.
If you could only have one knife for the rest of your life, what knife would it be?
The Maileah.
The Myelia? Mine's always like, everybody's like, oh, you've got so many expensive knives. Let's hear what the fuck Mike's going to say. And it's always like a $12 Mora companion because it is probably one of the best knives of all time. The nice thing is, because that question has a caveat, like you can replace that knife, but that's the only one you're allowed to buy. Like if it breaks.
No, because if I do the Maileah, am I allowed to do the more Maileah? Because technically it's kind of like this. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
cool.
basically,
so, yeah.
Design. Yeah. Okay. And your Grail knife, that puts us at 19 minutes after the hour, and we can do a quick story and be done.
grail knife? Like, what is like the one knife that I love more than anything? So
The one knife
besides
that you're like, there's knives that you're like, oh, I would like to have that, but there are knives that, like I said, my Norseman, like I couldn't not have it. Like it was a imperative. I had to have that knife. That's a grail knife.
that Mako folder that I so unfortunately lost, like that was the one that I wanted for well over a year. Like the first time I ever saw it on their Instagram, I saved it and sent it to like 17 people in hopes that they would buy it for my birthday. None of them did. They actually didn't even do shit for my birthday. So I was like, fuck you guys. But I got
86. There's 86 people here. If you guys are listening, I believe we could make that happen. My email is in all of my videos. And while you're at it, go follow my daughter's GoFundMe for her figure skating. Have you ever got to see? Did you
oh my gosh, she's doing figure skating?
You didn't get to see the video? I thought I showed you the video when we were at Blade Show West. I will send you a link to the video. My daughter skating in the Netherlands. She's already.
No, you didn't send me that. If you sent me that, I would definitely remember.
No. I thought I showed you that. I thought we watched it at the show, but I don't remember. There's a lot of drinking involved in my trip to that show. I did not feel good.
No, I've never known you to drink.
Not me. So, yeah, that's the end of the question. So what's the weirdest thing that has ever happened at a knife show? Like mine is that dude cutting himself real bad or smoking weed with Brian Ty, because that dude, like, I'll ask him a question. He goes, you want to go outside and blow one real quick first? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I come back and I completely forget what the question I was. That's how he keeps me from asking him questions.
Weirdest? I don't know if it's like weird. I mean, I thought it was super odd because like when I go to the shows, I have a badge, right? Yeah. And I design knives, right? So one might assume I know what I'm talking about, right? Well, at one of the past shows, I had the Maileah, and this guy comes up and he picks it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I actually kind of like this. You know, it's pretty cool. Can you tell me anything about it? You know, if you know anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, that's my design." And he literally stopped, dropped it on the table, and said, "Everyone really is a knife designer now, aren't they?" And walked away.
Okay.
And all I could think was, like, oh
day.
My God, you're talking so much shit when I have so many knives in reach, and I will literally like,
I will stab you.
Do things to get you banned off the YouTube.
Yes. I don't know if you heard it. So there was someone that is kind of well known in the knife world that had someone with him in tow, and asked. And my whole thing was like, I'm a dick. Like I swear I am a complete and utter asshole. Like people that know me are like, yeah, you're a lovable asshole, but still, I'm a fucking asshole. And I still would not have done what happened. So this person has a guest with them in tow, comes up, and they're looking at your knife, and he's like, "So what do you think?" And he was like, and the dude literally, like, I was like, "You're within earshot of the designer." He goes, "Oh man, this is fucking horrible. I don't know why this would even get made." And I was like, I pulled them both aside, and I was like, "Look, here's the deal. Like, whether you like it or not, the fucking designer is standing right there." Mm-hmm. And that's not real cool to be throwing that out and being loud as fuck about it. And fucking the dudes, you heard it? So the dudes at the ProTech table were like, yeah. He's like, hey, so Dave from ProTech was like, Mike, that was fucking stand up, bro. I was like, that's fucked up. I wouldn't want to fucking hear it.
I didn't hear what you said. I heard them say something, and that's when I just kind of took my head down. There was that, and then like at SHOT Show, everyone was calling me fat and or talking about my boobs, and I was like, cool. So people suck sometimes, but you just kind of got to roll with it, you know?
Well, see, I'm an asshole, but you've never heard me say any of those things. I guess I'm the right kind of asshole. I don't know. I just don't know. I just like people think sometimes that like at like events and things like that, they think I don't like them. Like, oh, Mike's an asshole. At a show, I'm a completely different person because I hate being in crowds. I hate that.
Yeah, I didn't think that you liked me at first. I'm gonna be honest with you.
At a show, I don't like anyone.
Well, okay, cool. Glad we're on the same page.
At a show, I'm so because I have PTSD and things like that, and that whole unknown element of that many people in a scenario that I am out of control of. That's why I hate to fly. It just David Horseman can tell as well. I mean, tell you as well. It's just one of those things. Being at a show is uncomfortable because it's something that's completely out of my control, and there's so many unknown people it triggers all of those little bells and whistles that make me go back to an uncomfortable place.
Yeah.
So
That
this
makes
was,
sense. That's
I
understandable.
apologize if you thought I didn't like you. This is what you get. If
Oh, no, it's called trauma and overthinking. So I think no one likes me 9 times out of 10.
I'm usually right. I think that as well. And I'm like, it's probably true.
Fuck it, it's cool.
So if you need to go, that's fine. I understand it. That's fine. Guys, if you want to, we do an after show because somebody donated beer to the channel and I said I was going to quit drinking and I probably need to. But I'm going to drink all this beer anyway.
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's been a blast. I am going to hop off and probably like brush my hair and go to bed.
Yeah.
But because my bosses are
probably
also
should.
watching this. So if they see that I'm late tomorrow, I don't get an excuse.
Yeah. I mean, you got my message this morning. I'm still running an hour and a half of sleep. So it happens. I get it. So I will let you go if you would like to. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
I hope to see you at a show. I'm going to roll these guys out and I will definitely, maybe we can do this again sometime when you've got more time and we can do a lot of more fun. Maybe we'll do it with we'll do a round table. I get some of the guys that I know. We'll just do a big live feed, like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, totally. And I'll have beer the next time. We'll be on the same level.
We'll try and figure it for a time where you don't have to necessarily work the next day. She's like, they don't have those days. I saw that look. You're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I can figure it out.
So,
but I'm going
right.
to log off. Good to talk to you. And I will figure something out for you to come to Blade's show.
All right. Take it easy. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Guys, that was a lot of fun. I hope everybody had fun. I want to do an after show. I think it'll be fun. So is there such a ton, right? Like I make videos. I spent an entire day just to shoot a thumbnail for one video. I was talking to Cole about it. I literally spent an entire day of taking photos and editing photos and then realizing that they were garbage. And it took forever to get one thumbnail. So to guys that just joined, I appreciate it. If you donated, thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to support my daughter, like I said, her GoFundMe is usually in the description of most of my videos. Oh, I'm not saying I want you to go donate money, but one of the best things you can do is just share it. And if I think there's a link to a video of her skating in the Netherlands. So crazy sharp. Oh, what was this? Friend me back on Gilded. I thought I did. At any rate, I'm going to end this. We'll count this down. And remember, if you're listening to this on Apple iTunes, because this was an actual podcast, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, there is a video link to the entire video so you can see what we're talking about. You can see some of the knives we showed, things like that. Guys, let's count it down and get out of here. I will not be coming back in after the countdown this time. So
29,
28.
27,
26,
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19,
18.
17,
16.
15.
14. 13. 12.
11,
10.
8,
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7,
5.
4,
3.
2. 1. 0.